So, welcome here today to this month's Tuesday talk, and it is, as it's the first Tuesday of the month, very first Tuesday of the month, it is being Danielle as part of Tuesday Talk on Tuesday the 4th of May already, 2021. So today, Danielle, welcome Danielle.
Hi.
And today you're going to answer some more questions.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully not any silly ones.
No.
Okay, but maybe some humorous ones. Who knows? Yeah. So this really follows on from a Tuesday talk that you did. What was it, 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
Yeah, I can't remember now. But yeah, about 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But this time it's been you, June, and Alistair, and maybe some others that are now putting me on the spot.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, we thought long and hard and came up with 12 questions. So I'm going to go away, and I'll be putting the questions up in a minute. But I'll go away and leave you, and I'll be back in about half an hour.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. So hi everyone. It's really good to be back. Continues to be strange times, but a different kind of strange as we move out of lockdown. But the weather's not so great, so I hope you're getting a chance to enjoy the restrictions being lifted, if that's the right phrase we want to use, even though the weather's not so great. But thanks again for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy hearing some of the answers to the questions that I guess in Control Scotland have asked of me. So let's have a look at some of the questions if Keith can put up the presentation. I put them in a presentation so that you guys can see the questions more easily of what's been asked. So this is your second chance to get to know the real Danielle behind the pink hair or the crazy hair. So let's start with the first question. If Keith will move on to that slide. So I think this is Keith's question because he let me know about this question last week. What one piece of advice would Dr. Danielle Farrel give to Danielle Farrel aged 18? So if we do the maths, this was a long time ago, about 18 years ago. That makes me feel really old. But yeah, what would I advise myself now? But when I was 18, when I thought about this, I thought, well, there's a humorous answer and a not so humorous answer. So the humorous answer would be not to dye my hair pink, because trust me, when I decide to change it to a different colour, it's a nightmare to get out and change it to a different colour. But then when I said that to somebody the other day, they said, no, that couldn't be a piece of advice because it's part of me now and part of your options understood and part of what I'm becoming known for. But yeah, I definitely would consider that if I'd known what I know now, because trying to get pink out your hair is not fun. Or it is fun depending on how you look at it, because you might have to bleach your hair a few times to get it out properly. But a more kind of serious answer, if we want to use that phrase, would be to stay strong. Challenges are only temporary and you can overcome anything. Because especially when you're 18 and you're moving from child services to adult services, which obviously I've already done a long time ago, but that can be quite a scary time, because when you make that transition, people forget you exist a lot of the time. or it feels that way anyway, through service provision. So if I was giving myself that piece of advice at 18, it would be that, because of what I know now. But anybody else who might be watching at a similar age, that would be my advice to you. The challenges are only temporary, and you can overcome anything. It might not seem like it at the time, but sometimes it's about taking a step back and being able to reevaluate things, which isn't easy to do at any age, let alone when you're making one of the biggest transitions in your life so far. But yeah, that would be my advice, because staying strong, I trust me, I know that it's not easy, but strength you find from somewhere, and at times when you think you're not going to find it, you do. So just always keep that in mind going forward, and that would be definitely my piece of advice had I known what I know now when I was 18. So let's see what the next question is. What is my favourite book, film, music and poem? I read a lot, or at least I do now. When I was a student, I kind of went through a period where I didn't read so much for pleasure, because you were reading so much for studying, it kind of put you off. But now I read my Kindle a lot. I do like reading true stories, and autobiographies, but if we're talking like fictional and author wise of that genre, it would be Jodie Pickle or Sophie Kinsella. So some of you might know them. They're quite popular. They're the type of books where you can switch off from reality a bit and just read them. Some of you might know Jodie Pickle is an author, because one of her best known books was made into a film, and that was My Sister's Keeper. The film wasn't as good as the book because it had a totally different ending to the film. So yeah, the film wasn't great, but as an author, she's really good, and there's always a twist at the end of her books. Sophie Kinsella, some of you might know, because she does the Confessions of a Shopaholic series, and for somebody like me who likes shopping, yeah, I can relate to that. Film wise, it didn't take me long to think of this answer. I'm not one for watching a lot of films, like more than once, or if I do, it's because I really like the film. And I think for that purpose, one of my favourites would be The Ugly Truth. And I think probably some of you watching will have seen the film. It's got Jared Butler in it, and it's really funny, and it's one of those films where I actually find myself laughing out loud. Yeah, so that would be my favourite book and film. Music. Some of you might be quite surprised to know this, because I have what some people might consider punk style hair. Hi Craig, thanks for watching. I quite like him. Hi Tom. I'm glad you enjoy reading. It's a great pastime. Yeah, in terms of music, I have to admit I like Westlife and Boyzone, but that's more because I like the Irish accent, to be fair. It's not really to do with the music. But on a normal day, I have my I don't want to say her name because you speak, but my Amazon Echo Dot playing a lot of different types of music. Music I remember my mum and dad playing when I was younger, up until modern day, and dance and pop and anything else in between. Poetry, I'd be lying if I said I had a favourite poem, because I don't. Poetry doesn't really interest me unless you count the Robert Burns poetry you had to do when you were at school. So yeah, poetry is not really something that interests me, but I hope by answering the other three is giving you an insight into how. Oh yeah, Alistair, I do like Pink. I actually forgot about that there. I do like Pink as a singer. But yeah, I actually totally forgot about that. So thanks for the reminder. But yeah, Pink's got to be in there somewhere. And actually, that was one of the songs I picked quite recently when I was doing a radio interview. Actually, that might be quite relevant to this. I was doing a radio interview in a local radio station quite recently, and I was asked to pick 5 songs that related to me to be played during the interview. So I picked This Is Me because I used it as a soundtrack in my Daring to Be Different vlog, because this is me, and yeah, and Groundhog Day, yeah, that would be a film you would watch more than once for that specific reason. Yeah. So This Is Me for obvious reasons, because I have my own identity and I want other disabled people to be encouraged to have theirs. So that was one of my songs. The other one was Chesney Hawkes, the one and only, because there is only one me. I've said a lot quite recently the world couldn't cope with to me, and it's nothing to do with my disability. It's just because I'm me. The other songs were The Climb by Miley Cyrus, because that just, I can relate that to a lot of my life, having to overcome battles and having to let go of things sometimes, because it's all about the climb and it's all about getting to the other side. Pink, So What, to answer Alistair's comment, was one of my songs for the radio interview, because that's just my attitude to life. So what if I need to do things a long way around, I'll do it. So yeah, that gives you an insight into some of my recent radio interview and the songs that I chose, and the reasons why. So if we move on to question 3, if Keith wouldn't mind moving it on to question 3. So question 3 was, who would be my dream date? This took me a while to think about, and the answer I'm about to give you and why you might be quite surprised at. So who would be my dream guest for dinner? Yeah, that was how the question was phrased, but in my notes I just wrote it as shorthand. But the answer is still the same, because the person I'm about to tell you certainly wouldn't be my dream date, but I would like to ask him to dinner to ask him one question, and that would be Boris Johnson, but not to ask him anything to do with lockdown, but to ask him why the heck he never combs his hair, because that really annoys me when I see him on TV, because he never combs his hair, and he's a Prime Minister, and he never looks like he combs his hair anyway. And then I might ask him about lockdown and what if this was to happen in the future, how we would make things better for disabled people should we be in a situation like this again. But yeah, my first question, away from the seriousness of the pandemic, would be why the heck he never ever comes here. So if we move on to question 4, it's about my luxury item. This would be depending on how long I'd be stuck on the desert island. So if it was more than 5 weeks, my luxury item would obviously have to be my hair dye. If it was less than 5 weeks, I did consider chocolate, but then I thought, no, if I'm on a desert island, that's going to melt unless I eat a lot of it in a short space of time. So, and then I thought about my Kindle, but then there's no place to charge it, so I couldn't do that either, or my iPod. So I decided if it was less than 5 weeks, it would have to be a good book, to help me pass the time. So yeah, that would be my 2 main luxury items, depending on how long I was on the desert island. If Keith wouldn't mind moving on to 5. This was 2 questions rolled into one. Where would I like to be in 10 years' time? Personally, I would want to be happy, settled, maybe in a relationship, although it's not high in my priority list, but if it happened, it happened. I would like to be my first proper holiday as an adult with support, whether that be abroad or here. I'm not entirely fussed. I would just like to have had that experience and achieved that goal. For your options understood, what are my plans? I would like to continue to be a vehicle for all disabled people, and for me to develop the services, whether that be working with other organisations like In Control Scotland, in various roles, or within your options understood itself as a company. I consider the recent change in the logo to be a symbol of being like a champion for disabled people. So I would like that to continue and for that to become more recognised as such. Question 6 is about what are the best and worst things about running your own business. When I actually took some time to think about this, I kind of concluded that some of the best things and worst things, well, the best things were also the worst, and the worst were also the best. So it depends how you look at it. So some of the best things that are really the best things are meeting new people, making a difference to people's life and perspectives, helping people see that barriers can be overcome. And it's also good to have that level of responsibility and be responsible for the development of the business and where I'm going to take it. It's good to have that responsibility and know that I have made that difference, and that your options understood has made that difference in an organisation. But having that level of responsibility can also be one of the worst things, because at the end of the day, it falls back on me should things need to be changed, or if I get, for instance, negative feedback on training, people might think that's one of the worst things, and I suppose to a degree it is, but it's all a learning curve. And the business and myself as a person, we aren't going to grow and develop and all those kind of things unless we have that. Definitely the accounts is one of the worst things, and being responsible for doing all that. But again, it's also one of the better things because you can see if you, for example, are successful in getting funding, you can see how that funding is being used. But the only reason I'm saying accounts is one of the worst things is because I don't like maths. That's just it. But I guess that's what the accountant is there to help with as well. So yeah, and COVID-19 last year has definitely been one of the worst things for the business because, like many others, I didn't know how that was going to turn out. But in a strange way, it's taken myself and your options understood on a journey where I'm not sure where the final destination is going to be right now, but I'm continuing to embrace that journey. And again, one of the best and worst things is being responsible for deciding where I'm going to take the business and what role I could undertake in certain scenarios and things like that, because that's a lot of responsibility. But when you take that level of responsibility and see the progression paying off, then you know it's worth it. So yeah, that's both the good and bad things of running your own business, or worst things. Question 6, 7, maybe. What 3 words would you use to describe yourself? Again, this took some thinking, and I guess I would say it depends who you ask. But if you're asking me how I would describe myself, would thanks, Alistair, I thrive on challenges and possibly. Although sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but hey, it is what it is. So I would say I'm determined, pragmatic, and resilient because I've had to be. But I'm going to turn that question back on Keith, and when he comes back on, he can maybe tell you as a colleague how he would describe me, because I think sometimes we can be a bit blankered on how we describe ourselves. So, and I think it's harder to describe yourself than other people describing you. But that would be the 3 answers I would give. Question 8, I think, is about what I want to be known for. Yeah, there we go. I would like to be known for making a difference, having my own identity, which I think to a degree I'm already there with that one, and also encouraging other disabled people to have their own identity as well, and be part of changing the narrative, whatever services or role I take within, whether it be delivering training or advocacy, or any other role I might take within, like providing services for advocacy or anything like that. I want to be involved in changing the narrative for disabled people, and for the business logo to be more recognised as a champion for like disabled rights and just equality in general. Question 9. What would I like to change about my life and why? Again, there's a more light-hearted answer to this and a more serious answer. But what would I like to change? Probably my hair colour, because now it's part of the business logo. I feel like I'm committed to the pink. But that's okay. But I'll just have to think about variations of different pink. But I'm up for that challenge. It's fine. On a serious level, what would I like to change? My house and garden being more accessible and adapted, and just on more general terms for accessibilities and necessities, to not be such a battle for disabled people in general. So if people need services, for these things not to be such a battle. Thanks for your comments. It's good to know that people are thinking about how they can describe themselves as well as they're watching, and like Tom has. And thanks. And Alistair's put some comments up there about. I think that would be how he describes me. I think so. Thank you for your comments. And question 10. Do I have a bucket list and what is on it? I had to really think about this because I've never thought about a bucket list. But so I could come up with 4 points. I'd like to swim with dolphins, and as I said previously, I'd like to go on an independent holiday with support. I've got a lot of family from my mum's side in Australia, and they always come to Scotland, or at least they did before the pandemic. So I'd like to visit them, and to just travel more freely because we can once the pandemic and restrictions have been fully lifted. We've only 2 more questions to go. Go on holiday with a dolphin in Australia. That's a good question, Keith. That might be an interesting holiday if I was to do that altogether, but who knows? I'm up for that challenge. How do I feel about the implementation of self-directed support 7 years after it came into force? This could be an episode of being Danielle on its very own, but we don't have time for that, so I tried to narrow it down. So I definitely do think it's a positive step, and we're a lot further ahead than some other countries around the world, so we have to take that on board. But I think there's still a long way to go, and it needs to be implemented the same way across the board, regardless of what local authority you're in, and not be so much of a postcode lottery as it is now. But I really do think the recent adult social care review and the new social work standards could potentially have a positive impact if local authorities and services are welcoming to the recommendation that Derek Feely has made and adhere to these. And I know the social work standards aren't technically legislation, but they do have the potential to improve the practices of professionals, which will in turn improve the lives of disabled people. So yeah, that is my brief thoughts on it. And the last question, if I remember rightly, is apart from seeing my family, where do I want to go when all the pandemic restrictions are lifted? Well, I'm glad to say that my dad was able to visit me for the first time in, actually don't remember how long, on Friday, which was really nice, but also really strange to have someone else in my house other than support workers, because that's the way it's been for so long. But other than that, I don't have a specific preference of what I want to do or anything. I'm just looking forward to being able to have the choice and being able to meet up with colleagues and friends and family, and hopefully get myself out the mindset I find myself in at the moment, where I'm kind of really do I have to go out now? Whereas I was never like that before. I was never in before. So I think I need to. I think that's part of what I'm looking forward to, just having the opportunity to get myself out of that mindset that we've all so easily fallen into over the past year. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Being Danielle, and I hope I've given you more of an insight into me and the real Danielle. And thanks for watching, thanks for your comments and questions, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Keith is on mute, and he hasn't realised. He's still on mute. I'll just...
Hello.
Oh, you were on mute and you didn't.
I was on mute, yeah. Okay, thanks, Danielle. Thanks for answering those questions. Thanks for. Do you want me to say the three things that the first three?
Why not? I'll put the question to you, so you might as well answer it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say the first three things that came into my head, right?
Yeah.
And the first three words that came into my head were remarkable, intelligent, and steadfast.
Thank you.
So I don't know, and I suppose I just mean I think you're remarkable, the range of things that you do and all the stuff that you do, and all the ideas you have, and even coming on here and talking for half an hour is quite a remarkable thing to do.
Yeah, I've got better as the months have gone on.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's great. It's great to be able to develop. So I think, and obviously you're a thoughtful and intelligent person who does think about things and who answers those questions. I mean, even those questions, you can see that from that. And I think that you stay the same. That whatever happens, that's what I mean. Obviously, below the surface is all sorts of other things, other feelings there. But I think you're a consistent person who stays steadfast and strong, whatever's happening around you. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Those were the three things that I've thought of first of all.
Thank you. I just thought I'd take the opportunity to put you on the spot. So thanks for that.
Tom also saying what he'd like to do would be at the end of after pandemic restrictions lifted, what he'd like to do is see people face to face. So I think
that's a good one, and I think you're not the only one, Tom. And it's a really important one for everybody's mental health and well-being. So yeah, I think I would agree.
Okay, thank you, Danielle, and we will be back on the first Tuesday of June.
No, is it not the 8th next month?
Oh, yeah, it is the 8th. Sorry, good, thanks. Yeah, I haven't rehearsed that very well, have I?
We had changed that, yeah.
That's exactly right. We decided we were changing it to the 8th of June, not the 1st of June. So it's the second Tuesday of June, isn't it? So
just to be
the 8th of June at 2 p.m. You'll be back with Being Danielle.
Yeah.
Springtime special. Next week we have Tuesday Talk with Michael McEwen, but we're at a different time, Danielle.
Yeah.
So we're doing it at 3:30 next Tuesday. Michael McEwen is talking about relationships at 3:30 next Tuesday as part of Learning Disability Week.
Yeah, I know, important topic.
Yeah, and there are other things on as part of Learning Disability Week. So actually 3:30 fits as a better time to do it. So if anybody's watching today and wants to watch next week's Tuesday Talk, it's 3:30 on Tuesday, the 11th of May, and it's Michael McEwen talking about relationships. So thank you to you, Danielle, today on Being Danielle, and you'll be back, as we say, on the 8th of June.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.